Patrick. And before we officially start, how are you doing, Ben? Welcome to the metaverse.
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. You look awesome. Everybody's looking great. This venue is
Yeah,
perfect.
awesome,
Um,
awesome. I'll teach you some tricks. So you can hit the one key to clap. Yep, and then the two key to wave,
oh, great. Hey, guys.
and then the E key to send out some emojis.
Oh, fun. Oh, you guys are
Mhm.
the best. I'll just do a heart emoji right now. There we
Awesome,
go.
awesome. Alrighty, cool. Let's go ahead and get started. So perhaps we could start with some introductions, Ben. Yeah, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Ben. I've been a founder for about 22 years professionally. So I've had two VC backed exits. I'm a YC founder. I've had a couple mergers, more failures than I like to admit. And yeah, it's been a great last 2 decades. But I recently, about 9 months ago, joined wefunder as a founder in residence, where I get to partner with a whole bunch of great founders every single day to chat with them through fundraising strategies, next steps, how to leverage their community to sort of build the next phase of their company and build a stronger, more resilient company in the process. And that's my day to day. When I'm not doing that, I'm a Techstars mentor, YC mentor, and I've got a 3.5-month-old daughter, and kind of
Oh,
balance
congrats.
out. So yeah, thank you. I'll wave to that, or I'll do that. I'll do a little bit of this, and so this is also a first for me. So I'm excited to be here and happy to see everybody else here as well. And so take it away.
Very cool. And you mentioned community building, and that's going to be the topic of our interview today. But before we get into that, you were working with the WeFunder team, and that's sort of how we got into contact. Could you tell our audience what is WeFunder? How does WeFunder work? And who invests in WeFunder startups?
Yeah, sure. WeFunder is an incredible platform that I got to tell you, full disclosure, like I had gone through two of those VC-backed exits, like I mentioned in the beginning here, without even knowing about it. And then when I found out about it, because what happened was, is I put it out in the universe after that last acquisition. We were having a baby. That I was like, listen, like I want to do fewer things better and be a present, husband and father. And Nick from WeFunder hit me up, and I joined within 24 hours because I was blown away by what it does. And I was initially a little taken aback that I didn't know about it, but then I was really inspired to work with founders and help them realize what it is. Essentially, at the end of the day, WeFunder invented regulation crowdfunding, which what it really is, they've been working on it since 2012, and they got it signed into law with the SEC and everything else. But really, what it is it allows you to invite essentially accept investments from globally from accredited and unaccredited investors, meaning for the first time, you can actually have people that aren't accredited, VCs, angel investors, whatever, invest in your company, be equity holders and be partners. And so for us, we call it community rounds because it's all about building a stronger, more resilient company with your customers and your community and your true believers at its core. And we are a public benefit corp, and so for us, we just care about getting more founders funded and democratizing access to capital and allowing regular people to invest side by side with Sand Hill Road VCs and everybody else. And we want to get 20,000 founders funded by the end of the decade, and we're already at about 2018, and
Nice.
strong. So yeah, just it's been really quite rewarding to be able to build a company like that and not be selling something, but really partnering with tomorrow's greatest founders.
Very, very cool. And you mentioned this earlier that the investors are accredited and unaccredited investors. And my understanding is on WeFunder, the minimum investment amount is $100. Compared to traditional VC funding, we were talking check sizes, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. This really opens up the door to, so many people to invest in the company. And they don't even have to be accredited.
That's exactly correct. I mean, that kind of goes back to our ethos as a public benefit corp and democratizing access to capital. Is that for the cost of what, 6 lattes, right, 5 Chipotle burritos, you could be an angel investor in a company and actually make a difference, right? People, especially our generation and just today's people, like we want to be a part of something. We want to feel like we're making a difference, and you can continue to like posts if you want, or you can invest in a company and really help them build the future. The wide array of companies that are on these platforms, and specifically ours, is all over the place, and it's really exciting. And last year we did almost a $500 million in investment volume for founders, and that's exciting to be a part of the solution and allow people to do that.
Absolutely. And I think one of the big appeals that, I had to wrap my own head around is, for YC founders who are so ingrained in this is how you pitch to investors, right? Especially during the economic downturn, you need revenue numbers, you need default to live numbers, percentage growth. And here's when we'll be break even and profitable, right? That mindset is so ingrained, and it's terrifying, honestly, right? To figure that out, even though it is necessary as part of the business plan, but having to pitch that and just make that sell. And now, if we're talking about, investors who are part of your community, as you say, people who believe in your team and what you're doing, the impact on the community, your customers, at $100 minimum per investor, how does that change, do you think, how founders approach it, right? Like how our founders are so used to this traditional method. How does the mentality and the perspective change?
This is a great question. Well, it's constantly evolving. I would say that I think we're at a new paradigm in the industry and how founders and VCs and the industry at large thinks about this, because we've been at it now for a decade, right? Laws change, everything keeps
Yeah,
going.
that's incredible. Yeah.
I mean, nobody. It's not your job to keep up with Reg CF laws, regulations, right?
No, not
So
at all.
really, it's been a long, road, but as of March 21, you can now raise up to 5 million per year, and it all goes on one line on the cap table. So that really opens up a great opportunity to sort of like, how do we think about this? How do we think about involving our community strategically in our roadmap? How do we think about building an army of evangelists behind us, both as early adopters, as customer and community engagement, as new channels? I mean, you name it. And that's what's become very exciting, is that, now we're seeing top tier VCs. We're seeing, even without VCs, we're seeing people just really lean into their customer base and involve them early,
Hmm.
because they will help open new doors, they will expand distribution. And again, because it only goes to one line on the cap table, even when you go do the institutional rounds later or whatever you're doing, there's one line that could represent like 5 6 thousand individuals that believe in your business. So when you start talking about LTV, it's like through the roof. When you talk about customer acquisition, well, they invested in you to be a part of it. Like, it's really fascinating, and I've seen some really exciting success stories, because it is exciting, right? I mean, it's a whole new paradigm, right? Where I've
Yeah.
seen success stories of a company that.
I want to, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
get into the success story, but I just want to highlight one more time, 5,000, 6,000 investors on a single line on your cap table, right? And you're around like, this is, you don't have, as a founder, you don't have to worry about managing 6,000 investors. You don't have to worry about any of that, right? And it's great that the platforms are here to help. But yeah, we'd love to hear, what are the success stories? How have founders already benefited? And, so we know, what to get on board with.
Yeah, but to backtrack one more thing, what you just said, right, is that it also is a really good way of like investor risk mediation in a way, because they are all in one line. They're typically on a safe note or convertible
Mm.
note. They don't have a board seat, right? Like, they're not like dictating your roadmap, but of course they would love to be
Yeah.
involved if you want to involve them. But so they're like a unified army that you've just put together. And so some of the success stories, I mean, outside of just general success stories of really great companies that have raised and gone into great things, it's how they've leveraged that community that they brought in, right? Because it's one thing to kind of follow a founder on Twitter or whatever you're going to do, but like to actively be able to be in a back and forth dialogue through the platform, or really be a part of early product features, new releases, testing, whatever, referral programs, you name it. So there's this one company that does amazing things with like recycled plastic and creating roads and stuff out of it, and they wanted to get into Home Depot, nationally picked up. They literally created a like a PDF printout for all their investors, and those investors went out and took them to their local Home Depots and Lowe's and all these things, and they got picked up nationally, and completely opened up new doors for distribution and new customer adoption. There's other founders that have leveraged their investor network for early product releases, feedback, A/B testing some stuff, really gathering some user insights and stuff, because these people are also invested in the success of the company. And then it's just, that's really what's
Yeah.
exciting for that. You're either leveraging to raise capital, or you're leveraging it to do marketing, but all in general, you're using it to also build community, and that's really cool.
Absolutely. And, oh my God, like equity crowdfunding totally changes the game because, one of the disadvantages to traditional fundraising is founders would have to spend, weeks, months, dedicated 100% fundraising. They say fundraising is a full-time job, right? For the founders, for the CEOs. But what if you can raise from your customers? You could do your community building, your marketing, you could do your sales and your customer relations and interviews, and you could do your fundraising all at the same time. It's the same people, and you're finding different avenues to build a relationship with them, either by being in the community, or by investing, or by being a customer. I think, yeah, that's one of the big game changing points. What are when founders have a campaign, right? And they decided, yeah, we're going to do equity crowdfunding. How do you do it? How do you do one successfully based on your experience working with founders? What goes into it? What are, say, like the marketing strategies, right? And the community building strategies? What have you seen that's worked?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, but it's a good question. So essentially, we really like to kind of start first and foremost by looking inward. What is our community? Like, who do we already have with us? What are available assets, right? It's not just your tech stack and whatever else. It's, who are your initial customers? What's your newsletter size? Like, what's your reach, right? How do we want to position this? What's the what is it? What is it? Are you just raising money, or are you looking to involve people because you want to have a community owned company? You want to build this from the ground up with them involved at the core. Let's figure that out. And then we really start to put together, what that will be. And we work with you, and we can also pull in some strategists and whatnot. But at the end of the day, let's start, with your initial community, friends and family, customers, true believers, early adopters. One of the things with Reg CF is that you can also leverage community rounds to do public solicitation. If you guys are just raising from VCs or angels, that's Reg D. You're not allowed to do that. So with Reg CF, you're allowed public solicitation, which means that you can get very creative on social, with PR, with press, whatever, placements on your website, newsletters. I mean, you name it, right? And so we want to make sure that those things are handled. But then from there, then let's expand. I mean, we have a community of about 1.7 million investors, about 6,000 are accredited. We want to make sure that we're telling a good story, right? It's at this stage too, people are investing, because of the founder, because of the mission, and because they want to be a part of it. And on second to that, they're investing because
Actually, I just want to highlight that one more time because founders are so ingrained in the cycle and the habit of, oh, investors are just looking for the return or the revenue, the 10x by a certain number of years, right? But this changes how you pitch and who you're bringing in. You were saying something earlier about, no, what is our purpose for equity crowdfunding? Is it to have a community as part of the product design and the product development, the development of the team and the company, right? Having their values represented, and what they want the product to become. I think those principles are very fundamentally different. I think, right? And I think that also opens up a lot of opportunities for how founders can pitch. And yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I just had to sort of repeat your point.
interrupt me as much as you can. I tend to vent quite a bit. I just kind of go on. I'm just passionate about it, and the amount of founder. It's very rewarding for me now to be working with founders on a daily basis, and seeing what they do, and how they leverage it. I guess if depending on where different stages of everybody here in this room right now, is that there is a strategy now to leverage this vehicle no matter what stage that you're in. We're not anti-VC. We work with VCs all the time. But I think now we're at a point where you don't have to go that route, or you could go that route and be able to sort of have a little bit more bargaining power because you've made it to the next milestone or two, and you've built up a community of people that you're investors, and they're there for you, through the end. There's no secondary market for this. Like, they're with you, right? And so it comes down to that. And as an example, we're seeing a lot of founders right now in this interesting climate leverage community rounds to bring their customers into the fold, bring their community in the fold, and build up a little bit of a war chest so that they can kind of ride out this interesting period to be at a better place to negotiate with VCs next year, right? We're seeing Series B companies that are hyper capitalized, but leveraging it to say thank you to their community and be like, yo, come with us, right? We're seeing Series A's that are also very well capitalized, but are using it to galvanize their early adopters and gain access to new customers. We're seeing companies come out of accelerators that want to be able to accept smaller check sizes, stack them up, right? Like when we were coming out of YC, I think our smallest check size that we would take in was 25, I think. Now you can take in check sizes from everybody and stack them up and then gain access to new customers or startups that are getting their footing. You can leverage the simplicity and sophistication of the SPV structure to go and run an actual friends and family customers early adopter round. And the thing that I love lastly so much is that within 24 hours, you could have a link in your back pocket. You could have a QR code on a pop-up band. You can do whatever you want to do that instantly sends people to a page to make an investment globally via credit, debit, ACH, wire. Like
Yeah.
you just have a
Yeah.
vehicle now to go do what
They
you
don't have
want
to
to
hop
do.
on a call with you. You don't have to negotiate. You don't have to. It's so simple.
Yeah, and you're not offering preferential terms. I mean, look, come on. If somebody's going to throw in a bunch of money and you want to have like a personal relationship and you want to provide advisory secondary shares, you want to do I mean,
Yeah.
you can do whatever, right? But this just puts everybody on equal footing, and it's really exciting. And I've been in it, like I said, for 9 months now, and I still haven't found a single thing that I think is shady or malicious or
Mhm.
uncouth, if you will. It's pretty
Well,
fascinating.
I think the numbers speak for themselves, right? The amount of founders that founders have been able to raise, right, and how much your platform has grown. Um, so, what are some pitfalls that founders should look out for as they're planning this and preparing their own campaign? What are some mistakes that you've seen founders make before that we should avoid?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's timing, and I think it's founders sometimes are so in naturally it's your job. You're just very much in your head, right? You're balancing a million things. The world is on your shoulders, and oftentimes you're not ready to go ahead until things are perfect. I'd say what my biggest bit of advice would be: plan, like, involve or at least consider this type of a strategy early on in your fundraise so that there's enough time to really do this correctly. It's timing, right? I mean, of course, business is timing, right? But as an example, let's say you're coming out of YC. Let's just use this as an example, okay? You're coming out of
Yeah, yeah,
Accelerate,
perfect.
to have a whole situation. You got demo day on the horizon, right? You know what I mean? There's all these things. You're super excited. You're obviously hyper fixated on week to week growth and all these other metrics and getting things ready. But at the end of the day, why would you go into something like that without the ability for people to make an investment right then and there that isn't some
Mm.
minimum check size, whatever it is. You're doing alumni demo day, you're doing whatever demo day, or you're inviting your friends and family to be like, yo, we just wrapped up YC. Why don't you guys jump in? It's the same terms as this, that, and the other. I mean, there's so many things, right? So a lot of times I have,
And YC Demo Day is on September 7th, 8th, just coming up. So this is perfect.
well, yeah. So it's like, why not? I mean, look, I did it, right? I went to, we had alumni demo day, we had, regular YC demo day and everything else. And I still go to the alumni one. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
now I'm kicking myself in the teeth. But again, hindsight's always 2020, and this was 2015. So it is what it is. But like, now if I was raising, I wouldn't go anywhere without the ability to bust out a QR code, have somebody scan it and make an investment right then and there. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
it's just so easy, and it's not too late for these folks right here, and that's why we appreciate having you here. Yeah.
I love you guys, man. You guys are in a really fun time. And it all starts here, but it's timing. I have people that come up to me when they've already exhausted all of their
Mm.
options, all of their friends and family, all of their this, and then they're like, hey, can you guys fill this up? And that's not really how it works. We really need to
Right.
sort of leverage the vehicle. Let's build up a nut. Let's enter the public space with some momentum. And then the general populace, they typically are like they follow the crowd. I hate to say it, but
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they, they're,
Yeah.
they're
Just
not
like
drilling.
investors, normal investors. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they're not drilling your EBITDA. They're not going into this other stuff. Of course, if they're going to write you guys checks of like 10, 15, 25, 50, 100. I mean, listen, the average check size is 1,000. The minimum entry is 100. So even batchmates can get involved in your startup, which is really
Oh
fun.
yeah.
And then, but I've seen checks over 1 million. So the point is that you're always going to have different sophistication levels of investors, but for the most part, if people, the general public, like I said, we have like 1.7 million as well that we could put you in front of. They invest because of the founder, the mission, the vision, and did other people invest, right? So timing, it's timing, guys, it's timing. And I would also not worry about a stigma because we're 10 years past this stigma. It's not. Now you got Mercury Banks, Mercury Bank, Levels, right? God, Replit, like all these like massive
Hmm.
companies doing $5 million
I, I,
rounds.
I believe the numbers speak for themselves. Yeah, and I believe a lot of yeah founders
Great.
think with numbers as well. So okay, so maybe a very very specific question. We're building up our campaign page, right? We're putting together a video, our pitch. Because this is such a new target audience, right? You want to change. You want to tell the right story to the right audience, and this is very different from maybe what some other founders are used to. What's the story that you would tell? Maybe you could take one of your past startups. Like, how would you pitch to an equity crowdfunding audience? What would that sound like?
I would really lean in on the why. There's of course your video and stuff, which really allows people to kind of see who you are. And if you read the guidelines in there, we still go off of YC guidelines. You don't have to have a fully produced situation. And in fact, more authentic videos perform better anyway. But then you have like highlights underneath, and you're going to want to put things there that are uniquely yours, just like this is what we're doing, whatever else. But for me, it's the why, right? I've always leaned in on that. I'm sure all of you guys have seen Simon Sinek's Get Into Why from TED Talk, right? But if you haven't, definitely watch it. But basically, I would lean in onto the why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I think it's important for them to come with us. It's um, that's it. I am very authentic when it comes to people. Everything that I've always done has been very purpose driven. Sometimes it's been something that I just fell into by mistake. As an example, the YC company that I started was completely by mistake, right? Like I can get into that story another time. There's a great article in Fast Company that says the difference between a joke and $1 billion idea is not that far. And it's just like it is what it is, but that turned into 10 years of my life. But throughout that, it was always like, how is this adding value to people? And like, business is supposed to be fun. It's long nights, it's hard times. I've got more gray hairs now than I care to imagine, but it's fun. You're working with really smart people, solving problems that weren't, that couldn't be solved or that whatever. So
Yeah,
involving your
yeah.
people in that journey, I think, is number one. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Why now? Why you guys? And how can they help you by being involved? Let's go. You know, that's my biggest thing because that's to
Yeah.
generalize it.
Very authentic and genuine, answering the why us and why you all should come with us. Uh, yeah, yeah, and fun. Lean into the fun. Lean into the passion. Yeah, no, that's super cool.
That's it.
So we're
Just
running out of time. So if folks watching online have any questions, what's the best way to reach you, Ben? How can they learn more? Pick your brain from your decades of experience and learn more about crowdfunding, equity
Oh yeah, I
crowdfunding.
invite all of you guys to talk to me as a founder and resident at WeFunder. I have like the best opportunity to just talk to founders without the guise of like you having to work with WeFunder. I'm here to support you. I might be able to make introductions. I might be able to talk you off a ledge, and I might be able to talk you through a bunch of stuff and help you with your storytelling, whatever it is that you need. Just hit me up at benjamin@wefunder.com. That's regular Benjamin. There's too many Bens at my company, so I got stuck with my full name. So at wefunder, but just call me Ben, or connect with me on LinkedIn, um, or Twitter, like whatever you guys want to do. But my name's Ben Maitland Lewis, and I'm pretty accessible through all those platforms, and I'm here to support you guys in your journey. No worries.
Awesome. Can I get a round of one keys, claps for Ben, please? Thank you, Ben, for speaking today.
Thank all of you guys.
We can open up for Q&A now. Folks can come on up, line up over here for Q&A. Come on up. Don't be shy. It could be founder questions. It could be fundraising questions. It could be just questions for fun.
I'm just going to say one quick caveat as you guys make your way up to ask questions. If you are going back to the last statement, your jobs as CEOs and founders is to obviously get capital, hire the right people, and inspire, right? You inspire by setting vision, you inspire by articulating where you guys are going, setting a North Star that everybody can rally around. I personally believe that your customers are no different. You have to inspire, you have to set a North Star, and you have to invite them along for the ride, because if you do that correctly and empathetically and truthfully, you'll have customers for life.
Yeah, no, words of wisdom. I totally agree. Yeah, at the end of the day, your customers are people. At the end of the day, your investors are people, just like you. Yeah,
Exactly.
your team. Very, very
Cool.
cool. I actually had a very specific question. Um, so when you join a community and a platform like WeFunder, and you're raising alongside all these other founders who are currently raising, you're raising alongside all these other investors who are currently investing, and not to mention all the past founders who have raised before, all the past investors who've invested in WeFunder companies before. Is there any sort of like bringing that community of people together, similar to how like YC will bring, a bunch of investors together and your current batch of YC founders, right? They'll connect them with the alumni, they'll connect them with the investors, right? There's these sort of, tying all the pieces together, right? Um, yeah, how does sort of that community of people interact with each other if they do? I understand there's like newsletters that you all do. Yeah, could you tell us more about that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a great question, and I think we're constantly iterating at this. We also, as a YC company, like we keep certain things alive. If you're in San Francisco, we do founder dinners every Wednesday. If you're in other markets, we also always do founder
Wait,
dinners.
you do founder dinners every Wednesday in San Francisco, like right now, like
Oh,
tonight.
is today Wednesday?
I think
Yeah,
today's Wednesday.
yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah, it's and well, I think tonight it's probably pretty low key because everybody's at LA Tech Week. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But
but
really,
yeah,
so you do okay. How do we like get into that? I'd love to go. I'm in San Jose.
I'll ping you with my team over there. It's the
Okay,
best. I was in San Francisco
awesome,
last
awesome.
week, and it was great. But like, we have this new big office and mission, so we just kind of, dude, you guys will love it. You guys are always welcome. But then we also have founder
Interesting. So community events, yeah.
kits. Yeah, we're all about it, guys. But on a bigger picture, on a platform basis, we're constantly trying to figure that out, right? I mean, there are ways where we are engaging our investor community. We're constantly engaging our founder community. At some point, we'd love to figure out how we can expand and connect and even support founders, because our chicken and the egg problem isn't isn't just getting great founders on the platform, right? It's like, how do we also help those founders raise that capital faster, right? And pair them together with great investors that can seed and grow their rounds. So we're constantly figuring that out. And obviously there are some limitations because we operate under SEC and FINRA rules and such. But I'd say the bigger
Hmm.
things, if you're in the Bay Area, founder dinners on Wednesdays are the coolest thing and very authentic. We just our own staff will cook dinner and stuff. It's really cool. And then other markets. So just hit me up and we'll figure out how we can support one another. We always just connect people at least one to one. We haven't figured out a really good platform way of doing it. I hear there's this really cool company, called Venue that we might start hosting cool events with a lot. I think, this is great. I love this. And I think this is something that we should also be leveraging to cultivate our community. So
Very
Nice work.
cool. Well, I'm gonna let Ben go into the audience, so folks who maybe do try to come up on stage to ask, you can one-on-one chat. I also have more questions, so I'm gonna catch you down there off stage. I got a lot of questions. So thank you, Ben, one more time. Hit those one keys for us. Thank you, Ben, for speaking. Thank you for folks online for watching. We'll see you all at the next meetup. Thank you all. Thank you, Ben.
Cheerio. Wow, this is fun.
Part of what you said, but I just wanted to confirm. It sounded like you said the best time to seek out uh, uh, equity crowdfunding is after you've already gotten some investment, some seed funding. Is that
No,
correct?
well, no, not really. I actually, thanks for clarifying that. Really, so there's a few different ways of doing this, right? But depending on how much you're looking to raise and all that other jazz. But of course, if you have like an institutional or something like that that you want to grab it because that's a nice headline and whatever else. But at the end of the day, we can also accept checks from other accredited individuals as well. So if you don't want them on your cap table, or like solo lines on your cap table, or you're not granting them certain provisions like advisor shares or whatever it is, right? You could always leverage the SPV to just put them in that bucket, because the more money that goes in that bucket, the more you're going to get from the general public in general, right? So it kind of hedges their bets a little bit. And also, the SPV itself needs to have a quote lead investor. And that's not a lead investor like your traditional lead investor that sets the valuation and all that stuff. It's more so somebody that gets to have the voting right for the SPV when it converts to equity and you go IPO or get acquired or whatever. So that's also a nice carrot to give to somebody that's considering investing in you guys. You know what I mean?
Okay. So it is dependent upon where you want to start with your funding.
I think in how you're thinking of rolling it. I mean, how are you thinking about it? What's on your mind? I mean, that's kind of part of what I do, right? Is like I kind of like chat with founders and just be like, dude, yeah, what are you thinking? And then I'll point you in one direction or another, or you know what I mean? Like we're not.
Yeah. So the whole funding stage is not the part I've been looking forward to. We are wrapping up our our pitch deck, right? And so I'm just trying to make connections and try and figure out what is the best avenue. Um, and so I mean that's why I'm here, soaking up
Yeah.
information, trying to learn more about the right place to start, because we haven't started.
Well, I'm glad that you're thinking about it and you're here, prior to starting. I mean, there's a few things, right? You can run the angel circuit, which I think is obviously going to happen. I think you're going to hit every circuit. And it's going to take a while, as it will. So don't be discouraged. But it's really sort of like strategically, how do I want to kind of think about this, right? What do you guys do? What are you raising for?
Our first app is a social VR game called Arm and a Leg, um, and it's we're interested in building immersive social apps that uh, get rid of that distance problem when you want to hang out with your friends and just
Oh, nice.
have a good time. And so uh, we're first starting in VR. And this is kind of a silly, goofy game where you can rip off your own limbs and use them as weapons, and called arm and a leg. So in this universe, everything literally um, costs an arm or a leg.
That's a funny angle. I like that. I mean,
Um,
so in this capacity, right? There's a few different ways I would go about it, right? One is that initially start to have a bunch of conversations with angels and or VCs and figure out sort of where those are going, while keeping like this is an option in your back pocket, to kind of know that this is here, this exists, or you can spin it up and you can have that link with you ready to go. If like, hey man, if you're down to jump into the SPV for this, like jump into it. Or if you want to write a separate check and do a whole thing, like that's fine too, right? But like you're kind of prepared. And then I would also like really tap into those like communities and the VR communities. Like I was just hanging out with this dude in San Francisco last week, who's at like the VR house right now in like LA or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And he was a really cool kid. He was one of the founders of he was on Justin Kahn's founding team for Atrium. He's just a really good dude, but he's all about VR now and stuff. And like start hitting up those people because I found a lot of success from investors early on from fellow founders. And I just feel like founders are like such a good place to start. And if they're gonna like put in smaller check sizes, even $10,000 checks, whatever it is, throw them in the SPV because then you keep your cap clean. Their money helps you get more money, And if somebody's gonna come in and be like, "Dude, I'll give you 250,000, whatever," they're probably able, but we'll see. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
yeah, man.
So it sounds like you're saying I should come one of these Wednesdays. I'm also in the Bay Area.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. Just I would say
Go
100.
together.
I mean,
Yeah.
the short answer is yes. That we have some really. I mean, I love my team out there. Like they're the best people, and they just really care. And we just got a new office in the Mission District. It's three stories. It's a massive thing that we're completely building out right now. I think we're gonna turn the second floor into like offices for companies and whatever. Like first floor is just like a venue. I mean, it's just we're building. It's rad. And so the founder dinners are great. And so yeah, just hit me up. Again, it's just Benjamin at wefunder.com, right? And I'll connect you guys to my team there, so you can be connected, into the next founder dinner and just go be a part of it. You'll learn a lot from them too, right? Like what's great about, again, I'm biased, but like we're a public benefit corp. Like we don't make sales commissions. Like none of us are like we're not like trying to outdo one another. Like that's not how it works with us. So everybody works together to help more founders like answer your questions, get funded successfully, like set things up. So even though like we're talking here, it's my motivation is just like to help open up a world to you of like a possibility that is there that you can take advantage of. And then like my team in San Francisco is there to answer more questions. And honestly, probably just like play foosball, have some great drinks, have some good food, have a good time. Like, no, that's what they
Oh man,
do,
I
It's
might get in trouble if I stayed too late. I got a 3-month-old.
oh, me too. I bet, yeah, 3.5 month old. Congratulations, dude. My daughter was born 29th.
Oh, yeah, nice. I am exhausted.
What about yours?
I'm sorry.
When was yours born?
Uh, May, beginning of May.
Yeah, look at us. Look at us being dads. All right, congratulations, buddy. But yeah,
Thanks.
definitely hit me up. Let's keep in touch. I'm here to support any way I can.
Awesome. It was great to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Rock and roll. Or wait, uh,
Yeah.
we need a high five function. All right. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Rock
See
and
you later.
roll. Cheerio. Anybody? I don't know how this works. I'm just kind of walking up to people. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
What? Hi. Al? Hi, Al.
Hey guys. I don't know if my
Hi.
computer is frozen. Like I'm trying to figure out.
I hear you, Al.
Hey. Great. Okay. Yeah. Like I am not able to move, but I at least I can speak. It seems so. Hi. So, Ben, you are based in NorCal or SoCal?
Oh, I'm based in Boston, actually. I grew up in SoCal and moved to Boston, started a couple companies, went to YC, lived in Mountain View and then San Francisco, and then I moved my headquarters back to Boston. So I'm here. My headquarters are in San Francisco, and we have another office in Nashville. But I'm here in Boston, holding it down.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. New England fan, Ben. Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to be in this town.
Yeah. Sure. And Celtics. Okay. So, yeah. I am just starting a sports related startup.
Okay.
I am creating a brand new sport from scratch.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So I think of it as like I'm trying to create American football and NFL at the same time, or UFC and MMA at the same time. But mine is racing. It's a racing mixed with like MMA, American football, hockey, roller derby, a bunch of elements from different sports.
So
And
it's
I just
just
came up with the idea 1 month ago.
Oh, nice. Okay. So where are you at? What are you doing? What's going on with it?
Where am I at? I mean, like I'm in San Jose. I just came up with the idea 1 month ago exactly. So I'm just trying to put on a small race here locally here in San Jose. Like that's what I'm
That's a
trying
good
to do.
idea. That's a good idea. Can you do you have
So
any info
this.
you can
Mhm.
send me?
Yeah. It's mixedracingleague.com. Like I
Okay,
just
right.
have a website. Yeah, mixedracingleague.com.
What's up?
So this is like there may be like hardware involved, may not be involved. It's like hardware is completely optional, but like is this something that like tech investors would invest in? Like right now, what I describe is purely a sport. Um, like it's a racing between the e-bikes, e-scooters, e-skateboards, rollerbladers.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, it sounds pretty fun and different. We have a lot of success with people investing in sports teams in general. So
Oh,
we'll either have like fun, fun sort of games or like whatever it is, or it'll be like soccer leagues, or soccer clubs, excuse me,
yeah.
or whatever. Pickleball is happening right now. There's some people doing pickleball league
Pickleball, yeah.
stuff.
I just saw pickleball for the first time on TV this past weekend. Yeah, like
So it's just like
they were
so there
on
is a
TV.
market. There is a market
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just to like sort of do that first race, market it like crazy, get a buddy who has like a video camera down there to capture as much of it as possible so you can put together like a sizzle of like the race itself plus people reacting and like people there or whatever, that it shows what it is, right? Because I think that's going to speak louder than uh, well, as you know,
Yeah.
right? Images speak louder than words, right? So showing it, I think,
Or
is going to
videos.
be a big. Yeah, through video is going to be a big deal.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that.
Ping
Exactly.
me at just ping me at Benjamin at wefunder.com. Let me take a look at it and like think about it for a minute.
Okay.
And I might be able to connect you with some people in the area that are that might be able to help you get this off the ground.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Like I'm like gonna be meeting with some folks like for like potential co-founder matching, that kind of thing, from the YC startup school platform. Yeah. So
Yeah, totally. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you're in the right spot. You're in the right spot. I
Yeah.
trust that platform. So
Yeah.
yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, definitely ping me on that because I can think about a couple people to introduce you to have some conversations with that are like in that space,
Yeah.
and be able to support.
Cool. Yeah, I will. Yeah, ping you. Yeah, Benjamin at wefunder.com. Right. Yeah.
That's it, Al. You're on it.
Yeah. I will.
All right, buddy. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Pleasure, buddy. Pleasure.